When you pick Waldstein in Under Night 2, you look at the character and you think, oh, this character must be a big body grappler. He's huge compared to the rest of the cast, and his move list has a 360. But when you actually use that 360... 2,000 damage? And they're left full screen? That doesn't seem right. There's a simple explanation for this. It's because Wald isn't a big body grappler. Kind of. It's complicated. One of the key defining features of Waldstein are his
big, meaty claws! Well, these claws ain't for just...
With these big claws, he's able to play at a range that most other grapplers struggle at. With normals like 5B, 5C, 2B, and 6-6B, he's able to play an effective mid-range game. This mid-range game is assisted by specials like 2-3-6-8, which is a gigantic swipe that can lead to pressure or a combo with meter. And his 6-2-3 specials, which are a series of rapid-fire slashes with some head invuln that help him control the airspace in front of him. He can also use his 2-1-4 claps to help apply plus frames at range. Although their range isn't that big. On top of that, he also has very good air normals in Jump B, Jump C, and Jump 6C. Jump C is especially powerful because you can charge it to make it more plus on block or give more advantage on hit. What about when they're a full screen away? Well, even at that distance, Wald isn't completely helpless. His character trait is Destroyers, and with his huge claw-based normals, he can destroy projectiles. This means that traditional fireball zoning isn't exactly that good against him. On top of that, he has not one, but 2 projectiles. The first one is a somewhat slow to start earthquake attack that hits full screen, and with meter, he can convert into a combo from it, again, from full screen. The second one...
There I was, holed up in this quarry. When Batman came nosing around, he was getting closer, closer.
And?
I threw a rock at him. It was a big rock.
This is Wald's force function, which he picks up a rock out of the ground and throws it at you. Without Vorpal, Under Night's buffed up state, it's not particularly that amazing, but with Vorpal, it causes a wall bounce all the time, and again, leads to a combo. Even without Vorpal, you can charge the rock to make it wall bounce all the time, so that's nice, I guess. And the neat thing about these projectiles is that they both have the Destroyer properties, which allow you to blow through the opponent's fireball and hit them instead. However, even with these tools, you still don't want to be full screen with Wald. Earthquake only hits people who are on the ground pretty much, and his force function costs Gird, which is what you need in order to gain the Vorpal state, so you don't want to be spamming it. Not only that, but there's a lot of characters who don't zone with fireballs, but instead with big buttons or specials. And there's some characters who have specials that really look like they should be projectiles, but they're not. I'm looking at you, Yuzuriha! This full screen issue is not helped by the fact that his mobility is genuinely atrocious. He doesn't walk very fast, and his dash is one of the worst dashes I've ever seen in a fighting game. And while he does have Assault, Under Night's universal hop/air dash, it's somewhat predictable, and you lose access to it if you ever get Gird broken. Basically, when you get punished for shielding incorrectly. So this means that Wald wants to stick in the mid-range until he can get a good hit and convert into a combo. One of the things I really like about Wald's combos in these games is that he has a lot of hit grabs. 6C launches them full screen, 4B slams them to the ground and then headbutts them, and 3C snatches them out of the air and flings them to the ground. Also, fun little tidbit, Wald's 6C was bugged on release Uno because it didn't properly wall bounce in the corner, so Wald had an infinite doing 6C, 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 6C over and over and over.
Little help? I'm dying here! Holy crap, this goes on forever.
So Wald's combo routing will generally look like some sort of launcher into an air string, then into 4B into some kind of ender. If you're close enough, you can even combo 6C into 4B. You can also route into his auto combo, which is surprisingly a good combo option. But with the 4B ender, you can either combo directly into God Press, or you can do a little bit more of a combo into EX God Press and take them all the way to the corner. Now, you remember how I said that it was complicated in regards to Waldstein not being a grappler? Well, this is why it's complicated. Because when Wald reaches the corner, he turns into an honest-to-goodness grappler. See, when Wald gets to the corner, that 360A, which left them full screen away, is now a lot better. You are in range to dash up and threaten another 360 after landing one. Not only that, but your massive buttons give you the opportunity to threaten people trying to jump out, because this game has no air blocking, unlike Guilty Gear or BlazBlue. You can make this Oki even better by doing a 720 instead of a 360. If you do a 720 instead of a 360, the grab does more damage, and it leaves Wald with better Oki. The most common way to hide a 720 input is by doing Assault and either whiffing Jump 6C, or faking out a Jump C by charging it, but not actually charging it in time to come out. This 720 tech actually works in the mid-screen as well, and it allows you to get, well, not great Oki, but you get some Oki. Now, I've been talking a lot about 360A, but I also want to touch on 360B. It's slightly slower than 360A, but it has a lot more range. However, it is always techable unless you get a counter hit with it, you land it as a punish, or, probably most importantly, you grab someone while they're shielding. See, shielding is the primary defensive tool in Under Night. It's used to gain Gird, which is what gives you the Vorpal state, which is what I touched on earlier. And using Green Shield, the version you get while in block stun, pushes the opponent out, which is very nice for fighting against Waldstein. However, if Wald's on the ball, he can see the Green Shield and grab you with 360B, breaking your Gird and leaving you in a terrible state. By breaking their Gird, that guarantees that Wald will get Vorpal, and Wald with Vorpal is a very happy Wald.
I am very happy!
Not only does the damage boost make his 360s even better, but having access to Chain Shift, a cancel mechanic very similar to a Roman cancel in Guilty Gear, is very strong on him. He can use it to get a combo after his 360, or he can use it to make his overhead either safe on block or confirm it into a combo. If it doesn't have Vorpal, he can use EX Clap instead. So Wald becomes a bit of a bully in the corner, which is good because he gets bullied whenever he's on defense. Wald has the slowest A button in the game, at 8 frames. To put it in perspective, most A buttons are about 5 frames. Not only that, but him being really tall means it's sort of easy to hit him with buttons that would miss on other characters. Now, he does have 2 reversals, 360C and 623C. But 360C is not the fastest in the world, and also it's jumpable post-flash, and 623C has the problem of being really slow and also not entirely invincible. But he does have the benefit of using 360A and B on defense because they are blindingly fast. 360A is the fastest move in the game outside of Eltnum's air throw. So like most bullies, Waldstein wants to be the one bullying and not the one getting bullied. Thankfully, he definitely has the tools to do that, and also the tools to get him there. So what does this make Wald at the end of the day? I'd say in the mid-screen, he's more of a mid-range zoner type of character. And with the right hit, he can transition to be a regular big body grappler. Now, there are some games where you won't transition over to a big body grappler, and you'll just play as a zoner the entire game. But other games, you will play entirely as a grappler. You get them to the corner once, and then you scoop them over and over and over again until they die. French Bread usually doesn't do big body grapplers, but I think this is a fairly interesting take on the archetype. I'm interested to see where they go with him from here, because I think he's in a pretty good spot right now. But no matter what happens, I think I'll stick around and keep playing my boy with his
big, meaty claws!
Thanks for watching.